Okay, Paul, welcome back to Kazakhstan. We are very happy to see you here.
I love to be here.
Yes, and we want to film some short podcast for our auditory to you to answer our questions about Lean.
Sure.
And first question will be, what is Lean for you?
Lean is the elimination of waste out of every process you do so you can make your life better.
Great answer. Sure. Who was the person who first introduced you this concept, and how did he hook you on that?
Well, it was Brad Schmidt and John Miller, two missionary kids, one from South Africa, one from Canada, but they lived in Japan. They were raised in Japan. And they became consultants to teach Lean. They were actually translators, like you're a translator. They were translators for top Toyota people. And they learned Lean by being a translator, just like you followed me around. And then they came to my company and they taught me Lean. And the reason I got hooked, that was your second question, right? Is because they showed me how bad I was.
Really?
Yeah, they showed me how bad I was. I thought I was good. They showed me how bad I was. And then I said, wow.
And what was your first action to change your direction, to change your strategy?
The first action that I took to change my strategy was I went to Japan.
See it by your...
Yeah, I had to see if it was real. You know, they showed me the results. They showed me they improved processes and they delivered fantastic results. But then I wanted to know the source. I wanted to find out where it all came from. So I went to Japan and I realized just how bad I was. I already felt like I was bad when they showed me how weak my processes were and how much waste there was. But when I went to Japan, I got really low. And then I thought how high I could go if I learned this.
So you fixed for you here a best example?
Mm-hmm. And then that became my target.
Good.
But why Japan is it the best? Are they the
Well,
best?
you know, it certainly was the best for me at my stage, but now we have companies around the world that are doing 2-second Lean everywhere, every country. And the standards that they are setting are as good and in many cases better than Japan.
So Japan was the first to promote this Lean,
Well,
start Lean, or
Japan developed the concept, Toyota specifically. Toyota developed this concept called the Toyota Production System.
okay, TP.
And they refined it at a very, very high level. But they learned it from Henry Ford. They learned it from Deming and from Henry Ford. Those were the two inspirations that got them going.
Okay.
And then they took it to another level. Then they taught it to me. I made it simple. And now people around the world are doing it at a very, very high level.
Okay, Khair was talking about Lean, and he told also that Japan has all those concepts also in their culture.
Exactly. Yeah, so the culture of Japan is very unusual because they love to see the little things. They pay attention to the smallest detail. They would pay attention to the fact that the handle is not exactly right. They would put the spoon exactly on the edge of the cup. They look at every detail. So they see in super high detail, which allows them to see defects. So what Lean is really trying to do, it's eliminating waste.
Okay.
But most waste comes actually from defects.
The main source.
Yeah, it's the main source. So if you can see defects easily, then you can quickly eliminate waste because it's very simple to say, oh, that's not quite right. And you get things right all the time, and you have a lot less waste. So this is their unique trait. They see in super high detail.
Okay, so the first to start lean, let's say, we have to see.
You have to see waste. You have to see the waste in a process.
But how it goes? I mean, you said that the guys explained to you and you understood how bad you were. But is it something like glass? You wear it and
Well, what they did is they took out a stopwatch. They took out their watch and they watched me do something. They watched me arrange the bottles. They watched me arrange the bottles, get them all perfect, everything. And they said, okay, you did that in 45 minutes. That was the first thing they did. They watched me do one of my processes that I was doing. And they said 45 minutes. He said, so we think we can help you to do that in 5 minutes. So 45 minutes or 5 minutes?
But
I laughed.
But how?
Impossible. Well, in order for me to put those bottles there, I was walking. I had my bottles over here, and I was walking over here like this, and then walking back and forth. And I thought that was normal. I thought this was just normal. This was normal work.
Okay, but you do it every day, and was it your?
Yeah, I just didn't see the waste. I didn't see that it was taking me this long. And they said, well, if you have to put the bottles there, why don't you put the bottles here to start with? And then just go to there very quickly, right?
Okay.
And then put a mark on the top for the correct orientation. So now look at the mark on the top. You don't even have to look at the label. You can just look at that. So now when you put them from here to here, you're putting them in the right position right away. So you're handling them less. And I started to see all the waste that I was performing because I didn't really see what I was doing.
But it seems like too detailed.
Yeah, lots of details, lots of precision, but they did it. And in 1 week, they took a process that took me 45 minutes to do. And I was good. Everything looked perfect. I was not sloppy. It was very organized the way I had it. But there was a lot of waste. And they took it down to 5 minutes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then in 3 months, we made so many improvements. It added $30,000 of net profit to the bottom line every month.
So
We were wasting that much.
Okay. And what's the way to? I guess it should be the waste should be identified. Yeah.
Yeah, first you have to be able to see everything that doesn't add value. So I didn't change anything when I carried the water bottle from there to there. I didn't change the water.
Okay.
Nothing happened to the water. I just moved it. That's transportation. That's motion.
Okay.
That's over processing. Those are 3 of the wastes that I performed. So I got rid of a lot of that waste by putting the bottle there and there. If this is where I need it, put it close to where you need it. Connect the work. Connect the work.
Okay.
Is that not clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
So,
Thank you.
what did you say to your team when you came back from Japan?
I made all the mistakes in the world. I went crazy. And said, we got to do this. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy.
So, how many people did you have? And maybe some of them.
I think we had about 30 at the time, about 30, and half of them went away. Half of them
So they didn't accept this.
No, they didn't. They didn't want to do it. They wanted to work. They didn't want to think. Lean requires a thinking culture and thinking about everything. Thinking.
The 30 people of whole team.
Yeah, at the time, yes, the company was 30 people.
So the half went out.
Half went out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it that just you say you understand the process, you understand that ways, and just say your people they should work this way?
Yeah, but
Isn't
not lean. Lean is for very few people in the world. Only for 2%. Only 2%. Only 2% of the people in the world get this. 98% of the people do not get this.
Just do not understand.
They don't want to understand.
Okay.
They don't want to learn. They don't want to change. They're afraid. They're afraid of making mistakes. They're afraid of trying something. They're afraid of failure. They're happy. They're content. They're satisfied. Lean thinkers are never satisfied.
Okay.
Never
see.
satisfied.
I see.
So this is a rare person. Most people, it's good enough. It's good enough. But a lean thinker is never satisfied.
But is there a way to change this? Or just
yes and no. I have not found a way to change everyone. But I have found a way to change some people. And what you need to do is you need to take someone who is bent this direction, not towards lean, and you need to put them into a lean culture that's strong. And when you put them into the lean culture, they are just enveloped by it, and they can change. But not all the time, but many times.
Create an environment, right?
If you have a strong, not just an environment, a super strong environment, it has to be crazy good. So if you have a strong environment and you put a weak person in it, they will be caught up in the whole thing. But it never happens in an okay climate. It will not happen. It has to be crazy good.
And could you please explain what maybe some, how do we start, for example?
How do you start?
Very basic things.
Basic.
Which you will advise to companies who wants to become a lean company?
Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to 3S your work area every day, which means sweep, sort, and standardize every day for the rest of your life.
Okay.
So when I wake up every morning in the hotel here, I 3S my room. I make my bed, I straighten the nightstand, I fill up my water bottle, I organize everything on the desk. I make sure the bathroom is organized, things are put in place. I respect the maid. I hang my towels up. I don't throw them on the floor. This is 3S'ing.
You mean you do it even in your life?
I do it in the
Simple
hotel.
things.
I do it in the hotel.
At home,
I do it at home. I do it in the hotel. I do it with everything I do.
even in the plane.
Everything. My backpack, the way I do everything, the way I manage my laptop. If you look at my home screen on my laptop, okay, so you look at my home screen on my laptop. This is not what most people's home screen looks like.
Clean.
Look how clean it is.
Folders only.
Yeah, very clean.
Okay.
What is inside the folder? Could you show
So
us?
if you go to the desktop, so I've got it organized by my keynote addresses, okay, and my Japan keynote addresses. These are all things for Japan, okay, and then books, okay, books that I'm writing, and backgrounds. So it's very simple, very clean. Everything's exactly the way it should be.
So it's about everything.
Everything, every detail in your life, every detail. And it gives you pure joy. It's very simple to live this way because I don't struggle to do anything.
So is it the culture that made you transform your mind?
Well, it's the Japanese culture.
Okay.
Yeah, when I saw the Japanese culture, I fell in love with it. I liked how everything worked. They didn't struggle. Everything was easy. Everything was fun. I was like, wow, this is the way I want to live my life. I don't want to struggle. Do you want to struggle?
No.
Who likes to struggle? Right? So if you don't like to struggle, it's perfect.
Okay. I mean, I thought it's just about making business.
Oh, no. It has to do with the way you take care of your body. It has to take care of the way you take care of your clothes. It has to do with the way you manage your laptop, how you answer your emails, how you communicate promptly back to people. When you send me a message, I always reply to you immediately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it applies to everything. How you treat people, the lady who gave us the water, saying spasiba, thank you, appreciate it. It's about respect for people. It's about being very aware of everything that's going on.
Great.
What could you say about Kazakh people?
They're beautiful people, wonderful people. I love Kazakhstan. They're very warm to me. I think that if the Kazakh people need to do the same thing every culture needs to do, the Kazakh people need to do the same thing the Americans need to do, and that is not be satisfied. Not think that their standard in their world is the standard. So I'm an American. America is at a pretty high level, the wealthiest, most powerful country in the world. And I could have said when the Japanese taught me, hey, I'm an American, I've got it all figured out. You know, we're wealthier than you, we're bigger Navy, bigger Army, bigger everything, we're more powerful. But I didn't. I said, I want to learn. How can I be better? How can I be a better Kazakhstan? How can I be a better Kazakh person? How can I be a better American? So my advice to the Kazakh people is don't be satisfied. Don't think that Kazakhstan is the standard. There are standards that are a lot better. Just as I learned as an American, there are standards that are a lot better than the standards that I understood. That's what I would tell them.
And what your wife thinks about Lin? How did she accept this?
Well, I made many mistakes. Okay, so I pushed it on her, and that was a big mistake. You can't push Lean on anyone. You can show Lean, you can do Lean, and let them enjoy the benefits. And so the first time I did it wrong with her, the second time I did it right. I made my area Lean, and everything that affected her that I was responsible for, I made it so good that she goes, that's really cool. I want that. So if you go underneath her sink in her kitchen, it's perfect. The vacuum is custom, it's plugged in. Everything's got a place. And I did all this for her, right? So every weekend, what we do together is we 3S, one closet or one drawer in our house. So everything is getting better. Everything's really well organized. And we do it as a team every weekend.
But okay, but when you do it once, it's okay. But how to do it? Support all this.
We just keep doing it.
How to sustain?
Well, here's the thing, because there's something called the second law of thermodynamics. Things are going from a state of order to disorder, right? So you have to 3S all the time. Otherwise, things will just disintegrate. They go downhill. So we're always 3Sing. We're always working on something, improving it. That's the most basic thing of Lean is 3Sing. The reason you clean is not to clean. You clean to find problems.
Why?
To find problems.
Okay.
So we clean, I 3S my laptop. When I do this, I'm looking for ways that, look at my Japan. I look and I say, well, how could I organize this better? I have Mr. Amazawa, Mr. Yabe, so I have their names in front of them. So all the presentations for the people are with an M, okay? And everything else, just according to the way I could most easily identify them. And I look at that and I go, does that really work well? If it doesn't, then I change it. I'm looking for problems. When I'm 3Sing, I'm looking for ways to improve. I'm looking for things that aren't quite right. That's why you 3S. You don't 3S to make things clean and neat. You don't make things, I don't 3S to make it look like that. I 3S to find problems.
And your inbox probably also zero.
Oh,
zero.
That's incredible. Okay, so there's my mail. Okay, let's see what's in there. So my inbox has nothing. I've answered everything. Everything is answered. Okay, let's look at WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Only 2 right there.
Yeah.
Only 2 on WhatsApp. Nothing on Voxer, nothing on WeChat. Everything's caught up. I don't make anybody wait. Nobody waits on me. That would be waste. One of the waste is the waste of waiting. If Kair needs something from me, he needs something from me. He doesn't need it from me when on my time. He needs it because he asked for it. So I have to find a way to respond quickly.
Okay, is it? But I guess it's time. What's we waste in this process while waiting?
Yeah, well, we're wasting time. We're wasting joy. I mean, he says, I need to get this answer, and he wants the answer, and then he never gets the answer. You know, it sucked the energy out of him.
Are there any types of wastes Lin covers? And it's time. You just showed us the
The
transfer.
first waste is overproduction, when you make too much of something. So the most common place you see that is when you sit down for dinner. Okay, all the food goes on the table,
Okay.
and we have 3 people here, and we have enough food for 5 people. So we made more food than we needed.
Okay.
Okay, so that's overproduction.
Yeah,
then,
throw
then what do we have to do? Then we have to transport it. That's the next one. So then we have to transport that back to the kitchen. Okay?
Yeah.
Then we need to put it in inventory. We need to put plastic over the top of it, put it in the refrigerator. The refrigerator's inventory. So now we have to have a bigger refrigerator because we have overproduced. If we're like the Japanese, they have little tiny refrigerators because they don't overproduce, right? So then you have to put the refrigerator. Then 3 days, 4 days later, you open up the refrigerator, doesn't smell good, it's bad, right? So now you have a defect. Then what you got to do? You got to waste motion. You got to empty it, scrape it into the trash.
Okay.
Then you got to overprocess. You got to take good food that you got seeds for, you tilled the soil, you harvested it, you put it on a truck, you drove it to the grocery store. Then the grocery store had to put it on the shelf and had to manage it. Then you had to pay for it. You had to take it home. You had to put it in the refrigerator. You had to cook it. You put the seasoning in it. Then you put it on the table, and then you throw it in the trash.
Yeah, you see, this is a very long path, long way.
Why would someone spend all that time and energy and then throw it in the trash?
Okay.
One reason. They're not thinking. They don't see the waste. They don't see all the waste. You had to grow the seed. You had to plant the seed. You had to harvest the crop. You had to put it on the truck. You had to drive it to the market. You had to put it in the package. You had to take it to the grocery store. You had to buy it. You had to drive to the grocery store. You had to drive home. You had to put it in a bag. You had to carry it upstairs. You had to put it in the refrigerator. You had to take it out. You had to turn the heat on, pay for the gas, put the oil in, put the seasoning in, put it on the plate, clean the plate, wash it off with water, take it to the table, take it back, and throw it in the trash. It's insanity.
I guess this is the way I'll be explaining to my children.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
The waste is everywhere.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that the Japanese do is they have a word called mottainai. Mottainai. It means to have a deep sense of regret when you waste things, when you waste a resource. So the most common thing you see when people get tea is they'll come and they'll put a cracker on there and they'll put a sugar. And they don't even ask whether or not you want it, right?
Yeah.
But they waste it and then it goes in the trash.
Mm.
But you had to pay for all this. You had to grow the sugar, you had to process the sugar, you had to put the bag in, somebody had to do it. This is waste. It's everywhere.
Great.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it's shocking. It's a long way from that part
It's crazy.
to here.
Yeah. And then when you start eliminating waste out of your life, and all of a sudden you were using this much resource, but now you only need this much resource. So that gives you other available resources that you never had before. Wow, life gets amazing.
So I showed to the guys some cases from BI Group, and we saw all the potential that we have if we will eliminate this waste in our construction site.
It's crazy. It's everywhere.
But
It's millions and millions. It's hundreds of millions of dollars.
is it the same for all industries? I mean, you said about
Yes, all industries have waste, but there are two industries that have more waste than any other industry. Construction and the medical industry.
medical. Wow.
Medical, yeah. Those are the two that are the worst waste that I've ever seen in my life. Construction may be the worst, but now medicals may be worse
I mean, you mean in the world?
in the world. Everywhere I go in the world, the worst is construction and medical.
And what is the best? Cars. For cars, it seems like to be a standard having this production line.
Well, the least wasteful industry that I know of is Toyota, not the car industry, Toyota, right? That would be probably the best. But there are a lot of good examples. There's a lot of restaurants in Japan that are very, very efficient and don't waste anything. They're fantastic. Every industry, there's across the board. That's a very good question. If I was to think of one industry that had the least amount of waste, that's a really good question. McDonald's. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I got to think about that. That's a good question. There are some, but industry stand. There are companies within every industry that are very efficient, no waste, or very little waste. But an industry that has no waste, wow, that's a big question. I got to think about it. I don't know. None comes to mind.
Is it the same, for example, you just explained, like some industries that producing something, hardworking construction, like construction. Is it the same for office workers?
There's more. I think there's more waste in the office than anywhere else. The office is the worst.
With paper or?
It's terrible. Well, no, over processing. So I'll give you a good example. Osselbeck needed me to sign some legal documents, saying that it was okay for you to print 2-second lien, that you had the rights to 2-second lien in Kazakhstan. So he had to print the legal documents, right? So this is a true story. I've actually got the video. I can show you the video. Here. Ooh, just show it to you right now. Why not? Okay. This is a great example. Wow. This is a perfect example. Check this out. Okay. So here you go. Here's the story. You ready?
Сколько важны маленькие детали. Вот, как вы видите, здесь много документов. Мы перепечатывали эти документы 3 раза. Почему? Потому что мы допустили ошибку. Получается, я отправил эти документы одному человеку, он должен был их сделать, но я не удостоверился, что он понял все правильно. Я не позвонил ему, не сказал ему в деталях, что нужно сделать. Соответственно, мы на переделку потратили 15-20 минут. Мы заходили в компьютер, переделали, перепечатали эти все документы. Заняло 20 минут. Но если бы я просто позвонил бы ему, или, допустим, более подробно объяснил бы ему, это заняло бы у меня, не больше 60 секунд. И что мы выбираем? 60 секунд, чтобы сделать это правильно, или 20 минут, чтобы переделать это все? Маленькие детали важны.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
1 minute or 30 minutes. It happens all day long in your office. This happens all day long. Defects. Instead of being very precise and very clear, he was sloppy. I think she got it. You have 1 minute or you have 30 minutes. This is happening all day long in your office.
Okay, then you have to plan more precisely, maybe.
You have to think more, and you have to make sure when you hand something to someone, do you have the spoon?
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
You understand?
Yeah, I get it.
Total clarity. No ambiguity. Total clarity.
Okay.
Or, do you have a spoon?
Okay. I see. Okay.
Do it right the first time. So, you know, I can show you example after example in Kazakhstan. Look at this one right here. Okay? So this, all these ribs
Expo, we had these metal
were on
supports
incorrectly. Okay? They're all put on wrong. So they brought them to the job site, and then they had to take them all down and take them back to the factory. They had to cut them all off. They had to cut every one of them off and throw them all out.
Mhm.
And then they had to recoat the entire thing and bring them back. You know how much it cost? $60,000. That's just one. $60,000. I mean, you're just throwing money out the door everywhere, whether it be in legal documents or whether it be there. Whether it be here, I'll show you. Let me see if I have it right here. Maybe I don't. Let's see. No. I'll give you another example. It's just, it doesn't matter where you go. It is everywhere. Here, look at this. Right here. So this is a brand new building. Your brand new building. Look at this. Brand new. Everything has to be redone. To tear up everything and all redone. Brand new. Look at this. Because it wasn't done right. The handoff wasn't done right. You got the spoon? You got the spoon?
Yeah.
It wasn't done right. Look at this. Brand new.
Mhm.
Look at total waste. Why would you put that up there and not do it right? So then you have to take it off and redo it again.
Better not to do.
Better to do it right.
Okay.
Yeah, just do it right. Stop doing it wrong. You know, what's the point of doing it wrong? What have you?
Maybe it's maybe time or money.
If it takes more time, it makes more time to do it over. It takes the statistics are that when you do something, when you have to do something over, it takes 10 times longer. 10 times. Also back 1 minute or 30 minutes.
Okay.
30 times longer. But the average is 10 times. Every mistake takes 10 times more. 10 times.
I think after this conversation, we can do a lot of things in our company with Daniel. A lot of changes. How do you think?
Yeah. We're thinking
10 times. Look at this is Kazakhstan when I first got here. Okay, look at this.
Ah.
They're just throwing the concrete.
Oh.
Just throwing it on the ground. This is a BI group.
It was long ago, probably.
This is, and then that $250,000 machine to pick it up. Then people have to pick it up.
Crazy.
But then the leader, I made the leader get in there. Okay, because this is not right to make them do it. So I made him get in there. In a suit and tie, make him do it. So he feels the pain. How stupid this is. Right? And then where do they put that? Then they go and smear it all over the back parking lot and make a bigger mess. You know? Let's go throw it in the back. Look at this mess. This happens every day, all day long. That's money. That's money in the front end. They're throwing it away. And then what do they do with their money? They go spread their money all over the back parking lot.
Oof.
And they, let's just spread our mess. Pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Just
There
you
you go.
have to rethink everything. So
You have to think about everything. The waste is everywhere. It's everywhere.
everything we do.
Everything you do. How you brush your teeth, how you take a shower, how you get ready in the morning, how you manage your laptops, how you communicate with people, how you do documents, everything. Waste. And it's a big game. For me, it's a big game. You just want to keep eliminating the waste, and you bring more joy into your life, more satisfaction, more resources instead of less resources. When's the last time anybody ever complained they have too much money or too many resources? Nobody ever complained. Everyone always complains you don't have enough resources. Well, you don't have enough resources because you don't see waste. You're wasting everything.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So do you have any questions? Yeah.
No, I'm just impressed with,
Cool.
with the view you have.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Yeah.
Kindergarten simple. A child can understand it. Matter of fact, children understand it better than adults.
Okay. And you just have to change the way you look at things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So Daniel has 3 children. I
Mhm.
have 2. So what will be your advice to?
The greatest thing you'll ever do for your children is teach them lean.
How?
Teach them lean. You know, the best way to do it is just make it turn into a big game for them.
Yeah.
To start going in their room and getting things organized and giving things away, giving toys away that they don't need to other children. 3S'ing their area. What do I really need that? Do I really use that toy anymore? Let's give it away to somebody else. Start this process and they will go crazy. When kids get this, it's over with.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Paul.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Fun. I love Kazakhstan. I love being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good.